Rome DDG Shadows. Captain Elena Reyes held her breath as the massive Concordat warship passed within 2,000 kilometers of her vessel. The Phantom lived up to its name, a stealth reconnaissance ship utilizing technology that bent light around its hull and absorbed all electromagnetic emissions. To the Concordat sensors, they were nothing but empty space. Proximity alerts silenced. Lieutenant Cade whispered, though there was no need to lower his voice. The alien vessel couldn't hear them. Old habits died hard when you were one of the last surviving humans in occupied space. Hold position, Elena ordered, her dark eyes fixed on the tactical display. The enormous dreadnought, nearly 2 kilometers of gleaming metal bristling with weapons, moved like a predator through the asteroid field. Its hull bore the distinctive purple and silver markings of the Tsarian fleet, the military backbone of the Concordat. "They're still sweeping the sector," Communications Officer Maya Park reported. "Standard search pattern. They have no idea we're here." Elena allowed herself a small, grim smile. "Record everything. Engine signatures, weapons configurations, communications frequencies, anything that might give us an edge." 6 years. It had been 6 years since the fall of Earth, when the combined fleets of the Concordat had descended upon humanity's homeworld. The war had been brief but devastating. Billions dead, Earth's surface scorched, colony worlds systematically bombed into submission. The official Concordat declaration had been broadcast across all frequencies. The human threat has been eliminated. They were wrong. "Captain, I'm picking up an encrypted transmission," Maya said suddenly. "It's on a frequency we haven't documented before. Can you decrypt it?" "Working on it now. The encryption is unusual, not standard Concordat protocols." Elena moved to Maya's station, watching as the young officer's fingers danced across the holographic interface. The Phantom's quantum computers worked to break the alien encryption, probability fields shifting and collapsing until... "Got it," Maya said. "Audio only. Translating now." The bridge speakers crackled with a harsh, clicking language that the translation software quickly converted to English. "Discovery in the ruins. The Overseer demands immediate extraction. The humans had technology we didn't anticipate. Repeat. Discovery in Sol system requires immediate." The transmission cut off abruptly. "They found something," Elena said quietly. "In the ruins of Earth." Chief Engineer Takashi Yamamoto looked up from his station. "Something that has them spooked, by the sound of it." Elena returned to the captain's chair, her mind racing. "Plot a course to Rendezvous Point Omega. Maximum stealth. We need to report this." As the Phantom silently maneuvered away from the Concordat patrol, Elena's thoughts turned to their true destination. Not just a rendezvous point, but one of several hidden outposts that connected to humanity's last refuge. Far beyond the reaches of Concordat space, beyond even the most distant human colonies that had once existed, was Nova Haven. 3 massive generation ships that had escaped Earth during the final days of the war, carrying nearly 30,000 survivors. For 6 years, they had built and planned in secret, gathering intelligence through ships like the Phantom. The Concordat believed they had exterminated humanity. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Admiral Soren Chen stood before the holographic display, watching as Captain Ray's report played out. The chamber was dark, illuminated only by the blue glow of the projections. Around him stood the other members of the Nova Haven High Command, 6 individuals representing the last organized human military. "They found something in the ruins of Earth," Elena's recording concluded. "Something that concerns them enough to send urgent messages." The hologram faded, leaving the command center in momentary darkness before the ambient lights slowly rose. "Could it be survivors?" asked General Rivera, the oldest of the commanders. His weathered face was creased with hope and doubt in equal measure. "After 6 years of occupation." "Unlikely," said Colonel Winters, head of intelligence, "but not impossible. We've received scattered transmissions suggesting resistance cells might still exist on some of the inner colony worlds." Admiral Chen moved to the central strategic display, which showed the known territory of the Concordat, a vast swath of the Orion Arm encompassing what had once been human space, hundreds of star systems, now under alien control. Whatever they found has them concerned, Chen said. That gives us an opportunity. For what? Rivera asked. We have 27 combat-capable vessels against a fleet of thousands. 27 ships they don't know exist, Chen corrected. Plus, our stealth technology is generations ahead of anything we had during the war. The Phantom wasn't detected even at close range. What are you suggesting, Admiral? Asked Dr. Amara Okafor, the civilian representative on the council. Though not military, her voice carried equal weight. She had been leading the scientific developments that might give humanity a fighting chance. Chen's hand moved across the display, highlighting key Concordat installations. For 6 years, we've been gathering intelligence, identifying weaknesses, building our strength. Captain Rice's report confirms something we've suspected. The Concordat isn't as unified as they want us to believe. They're keeping secrets from each other. You think we're ready? Colonel Winters asked, disbelief evident in her voice. No, Chen admitted, but we might never be ready in the conventional sense. What I am saying is that we've identified a critical vulnerability in their defense network. He zoomed in on a star system near what had once been the edge of human space, a nondescript red dwarf with a single gas giant orbiting it. This is Relay Station Epsilon 9. It's the primary communications hub for the entire sector. It coordinates fleet movements, defense grids, and early warning systems. Our intel suggests it's minimally defended because its location is kept secret even within the Concordat. How did we find it then? Rivera asked. Captain Ray's team tracked encrypted transmission patterns over the past year. The Phantom managed to follow a maintenance vessel to the station last month. Dr. Okafor stepped forward, her expression thoughtful. If we could disable this relay, we could blind them, Chen finished. Create a window of opportunity for a targeted strike. A strike against what? Winters challenged. We don't have the firepower to retake Earth. Not Earth, Chen said. Not yet. He highlighted another location. The Concordat's primary shipyard in the Procyon system. Intelligence suggests they're constructing a new class of warship there, one designed specifically to hunt for human survivors. Silence fell over the room as the implications sank in. They suspect we're still out there, Rivera said quietly. Yes, which means our window of opportunity is closing. We strike now, disable their communications, hit their shipyard, and then disappear again before they can mount a coordinated response. And then what? Winters asked. Admiral Chen's expression hardened. Then we continue to hit them where they're vulnerable. We let the Concordat know that humanity isn't extinct. We give hope to any survivors still hiding on our former worlds. We become a ghost story that keeps them awake at night, Rivera said with a grim smile. Precisely, Chen agreed. Operation Lazarus begins now. The Phantom drifted silently through the void, less than 500 kilometers from Relay Station Epsilon 9. The alien structure was a marvel of engineering. A massive array of interconnected dishes and antennae spanning nearly 10 kilometers, orbiting a gas giant whose radiation helped mask its presence. Minimal defenses confirmed, Lieutenant Cade reported. 2 patrol vessels, automated defense systems, no capital ships within detection range. Belina nodded, studying the station schematics that their scans had compiled. Initiate Phase 1. Deploy the quantum infiltrators. From the Phantom's ventral launch bay, 5 small, drone-like devices were released. Each no larger than a human fist, they propelled themselves toward the relay station using gravity manipulators that left no exhaust or energy signature. Infiltrators away, reported Takashi from engineering. ETA to target, 12 minutes. Elena opened a secure channel to the rest of her strike team. 5 other stealth vessels had taken position around the relay, each identical to the Phantom, each waiting for her command. All vessels maintain stealth protocols. Prepare package delivery on my mark. The quantum infiltrators reached the station, attaching themselves to key nodes identified in their targeting data. Once in place, they began their work, not to destroy, but to subvert. Microscopic machines invaded the station's systems, rewriting code, creating backdoors, and placing dormant commands that would activate on a specific signal. Infiltration complete. Maya announced after 20 tense minutes, "We have access to their systems." "Download everything," Elena ordered. Fleet movements, defense codes, Concordat communications, everything. As the Phantom's computers absorbed the alien data, Elena felt a surge of grim satisfaction. This was the largest intelligence coup they had achieved since the fall of Earth. The Concordat's overconfidence had made them careless. "Package ready for delivery," Takashi reported. Elena took a deep breath. This was the moment. The first real strike back against the beings who had nearly exterminated humanity. All vessels, deploy packages. Initiate Operation Lazarus. From each of the 6 stealth ships, a missile streaked toward the relay station. Not explosive warheads, but something far more sophisticated. Delivery systems for the most advanced electronic warfare suite ever created by human hands. The missiles impacted simultaneously across the station's structure. There was no explosion, no visible damage. Instead, the station simply changed allegiance. "We have control," Maya confirmed, awe in her voice. "Relay Station Epsilon 9 is ours." Elena allowed herself a moment of triumph before continuing. "Initiate the false flight protocol, then prepare for Phase 2. Throughout Concordat space, communications suddenly became unreliable. Defense systems reported phantom contacts that disappeared before interceptors could respond. Fleet commanders received contradictory orders, and through this carefully orchestrated chaos, 21 human warships, the main battle fleet of Nova Haven, emerged from their hidden fold space jump points directly into the heart of Procyon's system. Operation Lazarus had begun. Humanity's return from extinction was underway. The Riti Keoning, High Chancellor Vorix of the Tsarian Dominion, stood before the Concordat Council, his 4 arms spread in the traditional gesture of urgent address. The council chamber, a vast dome with representatives from each of the 7 species that comprised the Interstellar Alliance, hummed with tense murmurs. "The reports are confirmed," Vorix announced, his translator rendering his clicking speech into the standard Concordat language. "The Procyon shipyards have been attacked and destroyed. 17 capital ships lost. The defensive fleet scattered." Uproar erupted among the council members. The Maraxian representative, a gelatinous being encased in a hovering environmental suit, pulsed with agitated bioluminescence. "Impossible." The Maraxian's synthesized voice boomed. "What force could penetrate our defenses undetected? Who would dare attack the Concordat directly? The evidence is disturbing." Vorux continued when the chamber quieted. "The attacking vessels utilize technology consistent with human design principles, but far advanced beyond what they possessed during the war. The humans are extinct," stated the Savrathi delegate, her feathered crest flattening against her skull in the equivalent of a dismissive scowl. "We eradicated their worlds ourselves. This must be some new species, or perhaps pirates using salvaged human vessels." Vorux activated a holographic projector in the center of the chamber. The image showed grainy footage of sleek, angular ships emerging from what appeared to be rifts in space itself, a technology the Concordat had theorized but never mastered. "These are not salvaged vessels," Vorux said grimly, and before the Procyon shipyards were destroyed, they'd broadcast a message in human language. The hologram shifted, displaying text in human English, followed by translations in all Concordat languages. "We are the ghosts of Earth. You tried to exterminate us. You failed. We are returning." Silence fell over the council chamber, heavy with implication. "How?" the Savrathi finally asked, her voice barely audible. "How could they have survived? Where have they been hiding?" Before Vorix could respond, the chamber's emergency alert system activated. A junior Tsarian officer rushed in, mandibles clicking in agitation. "High Chancellor, we've lost contact with Relay Station Epsilon 9. All communications in 4 sectors are compromised. Defense systems are reporting contradictory data. The implications hit Vorix like a physical blow. The humans have infiltrated our network." As if confirming his words, the chamber's own holographic systems flickered, then displayed a new message. "The reckoning has begun." From the bridge of the Nova Haven flagship Redemption, Admiral Chen watched as the tactical display updated in real time. The Procyon shipyards, once the pride of the Concordat's military-industrial complex, were now an expanding field of debris. All 17 of the new hunter-killer vessels that had been under construction were destroyed before they could be launched. Phase 2 complete. "Admiral," his executive officer reported, "all attack groups have completed their objectives and are withdrawing to the rendezvous points." Chen nodded, satisfaction warming his chest, despite the knowledge that this was only the beginning, a symbolic first strike. "Casualties. Minimal, sir. 2 light cruisers damaged but operational. No ships lost. 37 personnel wounded, no fatalities." Better than they had dared hope. The element of surprise had been total, and the electronic warfare assault through the compromised relay station had crippled the Concordat's response. "Sir," the communications officer interrupted, "we're receiving a transmission from Captain Rice on the Phantom. Priority Alpha." Chen frowned. The Phantom and the other stealth vessels were supposed to maintain radio silence except in dire emergencies. "Put her through." Alina Ray's face appeared on the screen, her expression a mixture of urgency and something Chen couldn't immediately identify. Hope, perhaps. "Admiral, we've intercepted and decoded emergency Concordat transmissions regarding the discovery in the Sol system," she reported without preamble. "You need to see this immediately." The screen split, showing data streaming alongside Alina's face. As Chen read, his eyes widened. "Is this verified?" he demanded. "Triple confirmed, sir. The Phantom infiltrated their secure channels directly." Chen felt a weight lift from his shoulders, a weight he had carried for 6 long years. "Recall all ships to Nova Haven immediately. We need to revise the entire operation." His executive officer looked confused. "Sir." Chen turned, and for the first time since the fall of Earth, he smiled, a real smile that reached his eyes. "There are survivors on Earth, not just a few scattered resistance fighters, organized groups. Thousands of them, hiding in the deep oceans, in underground bunkers, in the most remote regions. They've been waging a guerrilla war against the occupation for years." The bridge fell silent as the news sank in. "And that's not all," Chen continued, his voice gaining strength. "The Concordat found evidence that at least 3 colony worlds they thought they'd sterilized also have surviving human populations. They've been keeping it secret, even from their own council." "Why would they hide that?" the XO asked. "Because," Chen said, "it would reveal that their victory was incomplete, that their great triumph over humanity, the justification for the resources they've poured into occupying our worlds, was a lie." He returned his attention to the tactical display, his mind racing with new possibilities. "Captain Rice, I'm reassigning the Phantom and all stealth vessels to immediate reconnaissance of the Sol system. Confirm the status of these resistance groups and establish contact if possible." "Yes, Admiral," Alina replied, determination etched into her features. "What about the main fleet?" Chen studied the strategic map, which now showed Concordat forces in disarray as conflicting orders and Phantom sensor readings continued to spread through their compromised network. "We've struck our first blow. Now we consolidate and prepare for the next phase. But first," he paused, making a decision. "First, we let the galaxy know that humanity has returned." The Phantom slipped through the debris field that had once been Earth's orbital defense network. 6 years of neglect had turned it into a navigational hazard, perfect cover for a stealth approach. Earth itself hung before them, its once blue surface now mottled with brown and gray, the scars of orbital bombardment still visible after all these years. Yet there were signs of recovery too. Patches of green spreading slowly across continents, clouds forming natural patterns once more. Life signs? Elena asked, her voice barely above a whisper as she gazed upon humanity's birthplace. Maya worked her console with practiced efficiency, confirming multiple human signatures, concentrated in the regions indicated by the Concordat intelligence: northern mountain ranges, deep ocean habitats, subterranean complexes near the old major cities. Any Concordat presence? Minimal, Cade reported. Small garrisons only, mostly automated. They don't maintain a large occupation force. They thought there was nothing left to occupy. Their mistake. Earth's survivors had adapted, hidden, endured, just as humanity had always done when faced with overwhelming odds. "I'm detecting a weak transmission," Maya suddenly announced. It's on an old emergency band. Earth origin." "Let me hear it," Elena ordered, her heart racing. Static filled the bridge, then resolved into a distorted human voice. "To any human vessels. This is Resistance Command Alpha. We detect your presence in orbit. Identify yourselves, or we will assume hostile intent. Repeat. Unidentified vessel in Earth orbit. Identify yourself immediately." Elena almost laughed aloud. After all this time, after believing Earth completely subjugated, to hear a human voice broadcasting from the surface with such authority, it was beyond their wildest hopes. "Open a channel," she ordered, then took a deep breath. "Earth Resistance Command. This is Captain Elena Reyes of the human vessel Phantom. We represent Nova Haven, the human colony established beyond Concordat space after the fall. We've returned to make contact, and to begin reclaiming what is ours." There was a long pause. Then the voice returned, steadier now. "Captain Rice, this is Commander Jackson Chen, Earth Resistance. Did you say human colony? There are more of us out there." Elena smiled, tears welling in her eyes as she responded, "Yes, Commander. 30,000 survivors initially, now over 40,000 with the children born since the fall. And we've just destroyed the Procyon shipyards, our first strike against the Concordat." The silence that followed was profound. Then cheering erupted over the communication channel, distant voices celebrating the first real hope they'd had in 6 years. "Captain," Commander Chen's voice returned, emotional but controlled, "we have so much to discuss. The Concordat occupation is weak. They never expected resistance. We've been gathering intelligence, sabotaging what we can, waiting for an opportunity. If what you're saying is true." "It is," Elena confirmed. "And you should know, you're not alone. We have confirmation of survivors on at least 3 colony worlds. The Concordat has been keeping it secret." "Of course they have," Jackson responded with a bitter laugh. "Their entire alliance is built on fear, fear of human potential, fear of what we might become if left unchecked. That's why they tried to exterminate us." Elena nodded, though she knew he couldn't see her. "Commander Chen, prepare your people. The Nova Haven fleet is mobilizing. We're not just making a statement anymore. We're coming home." 1 month later, the Concordat Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives shouted over one another as reports continued to stream in. Human forces striking throughout formerly occupied space, resistance groups rising up on worlds thought cleansed, and most alarmingly, evidence that several outer colonies had secretly harbored human refugees for years. High Chancellor Vorax no longer attempted to maintain order. The Concordat was fracturing before his eyes. The Maraxians and Savrethi had already withdrawn their fleets to protect their home systems, abandoning jointly held territories. "The humans have retaken 3 colony worlds already," his aide reported quietly, "and their main fleet is on approach to Earth. Our remaining forces there cannot stop them." Vorax clicked his mandibles in resignation. The humans never understood their place in the cosmos. We sought to remove a destabilizing element, a species too aggressive, too unpredictable to exist within the balanced order we created. And now, the aide asked. Before Vorax could answer, the chamber's communication system activated unbidden. On every screen appeared the face of a human male, middle-aged, with features that showed both Asian and European ancestry. "I am Admiral Soren Chen of the United Human Forces," the figure announced without preamble. "Your attempt to exterminate my species has failed. Even now, our fleet approaches Earth, the world you tried to destroy. Your occupation forces are surrendering without resistance, knowing they face annihilation otherwise." Murmurs spread through the council chamber as the implications became clear. "The Concordat has a choice," Admiral Chen continued. "Continue this war you cannot win, for we will never stop, never surrender, and show no mercy to those who sought our extinction, or negotiate terms for peace." Terms. Vorax found himself asking aloud. "You would negotiate with those who tried to destroy you?" Admiral Chen's expression remained impassive. "Unlike the Concordat, we understand that genocide is never the answer. Humanity will reclaim its worlds. That is non-negotiable. But we have no desire for endless war, only justice and the guarantee of our continued existence." The transmission ended, leaving the council chamber in stunned silence. The Savrathi representative was the first to speak. "They offer peace. After what we did." "It is not what I expected," Vorax admitted. "What will you do, High Chancellor?" his aide asked quietly. Vorax looked around the chamber, at the representatives of species who had united in fear of humanity, who had convinced themselves that extermination was necessary for their own survival. He saw now what they had all missed. In attempting to eliminate a perceived threat, they had created a real one. A humanity tempered by near extinction would be far more dangerous than the disunited colonies they had attacked 6 years ago. "We will negotiate," he decided. "The alternative is destruction. If not now, then eventually. The humans have proven more resilient, more resourceful than we believed possible." As the council broke into renewed argument, Vorax gazed at the spot where Admiral Chen's image had been. The humans had a saying he had once dismissed as primitive sentimentality. "What doesn't kill us makes us stronger." Now he understood. Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of the Redemption as the massive warship entered Earth orbit. Below, the planet of humanity's birth slowly turned, scared but healing, just like the species it had spawned. "Reports from the surface." "Admiral," his XO announced, joining him at the viewport. "The last Concordat garrison has surrendered. Earth is fully under human control again." Chen nodded, his eyes never leaving the blue-green world below. "And the resistance. Commander Jackson Chen and his leadership are preparing for your arrival. They're eager to meet the ghosts from beyond the stars, as they've taken to calling us." A small smile touched Chen's lips. "Not ghosts anymore. We've proven we're very much alive." The door to the observation deck slid open, and Captain Alina Reyes entered, still wearing her phantom mission gear. "Admiral," she said, saluting crisply, "the Concordat delegation has arrived. They're requesting permission to come aboard for preliminary discussions." "Granted," Chen replied. "Have them escorted to the conference room." He turned to Alina. "You should be present, Captain. Your intelligence work made this moment possible." Elena nodded, but her expression remained troubled. "Sir, may I speak freely?" "Always, Captain. The Concordat tried to exterminate us. Billions died. Worlds were devastated." Her voice tightened with controlled emotion. "Why negotiate at all? We have them on the defensive. We cold. Become what they feared we were." Chen interrupted gently. "Exact revenge until not one of them remains." Elena fell silent, the conflict clear on her face. "We negotiate," Chen said firmly, "because that is what separates us from them. They chose genocide when faced with a perceived threat. We choose a different path." He turned back to the viewport, where Earth filled the view. Humanity has always been at its best when recovering from disaster. More innovative, more determined, more unified than at any other time. The Concordat's greatest mistake wasn't trying to destroy us. It was giving us the opportunity to become stronger than we ever could have been otherwise. Chen placed a hand on Alina's shoulder. We will rebuild. We will reclaim our place among the stars. And we will ensure nothing like this ever happens to our species again. But we will not become the monsters they believed us to be. As they stood watching Earth grow larger in the viewport, Chen felt a profound sense of completion. They had done what many had thought impossible, returned from extinction, reclaimed their homeworld, and forced their would-be exterminators to the negotiating table. Humanity had not just survived. It had proven itself worthy of survival. The ghosts of Earth had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same again.